Want to know what your dog is thinking?
Have a challenging dog behavior you need help with?
The Dish on Dogs is your source for all your canine questions.
Improve your relationship with your dog and deepen your understanding of your furry friend. Right here on the Dish on Dogs. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Dish on Dogs. I'm your host, Mike Gould, affectionately known as the mayor of Hounds Town USA, which of course is home to the absolute happiest dogs on earth. Joining me today is the very lovely Jackie Bondanza, president of the Hounds Town organization. This is the president here.
Wow, what an intro.
Yeah, so Jackie, and I am so flattered because as you've risen to the ranks of president, you're a tough commodity to get a hold of. So, and I understand you kind of branching out doing this when I'm not in town. You're doing your own Hounds Town.
Yeah, we got a replacement host.
Yeah, which you're doing a great
You're welcome,
job.
everyone.
And I understand and I see what's happening here as I get older. I'm doing a lot of videos, training, and I'm doing a lot of replacement things at my presence. But, you know, like Colonel Sanders, right? You're preparing for that time comes that I'm not going to be here.
I'm not sure that's really the case.
I think that's what's happening.
We're all doing videos.
I see the introduction video. I'm doing videos. So anyway, I'm good. I'm glad. I spend more time in Atlantic City, Las Vegas. No problemo. So anyway, thank you, Jackie, for being here. I had about 8 cups of coffee.
I know.
So I'm a little disoriented. I'm in a
We'll
caffeine.
Apologize in advance to everyone listening.
I apologize to everyone I offend, which is many. Anyway.
All right, let's talk about
what
we're going to get, the topic we're going to get to today, which is kennel cough and some of the other common injuries and illnesses that can occur here at doggy daycare. We're going to talk about what they are, why they occur, what we do in our facilities to prevent, injury and illness to the best that we can. But let's just talk about, what kennel cough is. It's probably one of the most common illnesses that can go around. It's similar to a cold.
Communicable.
Going around in a kindergarten class. So
right.
Now we're in October now, and this is the time where we tend to see some kennel cough cases. So in the spring and the fall, when the seasons change, just like with humans, sometimes that can be the season where we see minor respiratory illnesses like kennel cough kind of come about.
Right. So let's talk about kennel cough, its name is Bordetella.
Mm-hmm.
Not what's that meat? What's that Italian meat?
Bordetella.
There's some Italian meat that I get on my sandwich from Jersey
It's not
Mike's.
that.
By the way, hi Mitch. You get that meat. It's not that Bordetella.
Bordetella, yes.
Bordetella.
Like yeah.
This is Bordetella.
Yes.
Okay. So Bordetella, as you quite correctly said, is an upper respiratory disorder, right? That creates hacking. It's called kennel cough. I don't like the word kennel cough, to be honest with you, because it sounds like an insidious, it's from a dirty kennel, right?
Yeah,
kennel
that is a big misconception, is that it comes from a kennel. So we have a lot of customers, if their dog does contract kennel cough, they automatically assume that the dog has picked it up here because this is a kennel. Yeah. The truth is, dogs, just like humans catching a cold, dogs can catch kennel cough at their vet's office, in their own backyard, if they go to PetSmart, if they go to the dog park. Right. It's kind of an old school term that kind of, is not really accurate. Right. It's really, we refer to it as, the Bordetella.
Right. Well, that's the vaccine. That's the scientific name for it. But here's the thing. Again, you're right. It's like calling kindergarten cough. It's the same thing, because if you break down what's going on, and very factually, it has a lot of parallels to what's going on right now with COVID-19. It has parallels. However, to be clear, it does not have the serious effects of it. It's very benign kennel cough, Bordetella, in 90% of the cases.
Or more. Yeah. It's rare that kennel cough would turn into something more serious. Of course it can, though. It can turn into pneumonia in rare cases.
Right. But interestingly enough, Jackie, again, the parallel is very similar. In very young puppies and very older dogs, they're more susceptible to serious illnesses. Older dogs, it can turn into pneumonia. Younger dogs. But the vast majority of cases, it is benign And it's diagnosed and it's communicable in the sense that now we're entering into kennel cough season. Guess what? We're entering into flu season for children. So when all these little bratty kids go back to school, are they even going back? Are they letting these little snot noses back yet?
Yeah,
okay.
They're back.
So now when they go to school, they haven't, and very frankly, kids, this little era, the last 6 months, they haven't been socializing, children and dogs to a certain degree. They haven't been socializing the way they should, so therefore their immunity, or now we talk about herd immunity, that's a common phrase, they haven't developed it. So they come to an environment that's different than their own, right? So kids in kindergarten come, and there's all kinds of colds going around, and if you don't have a hardy immune system, you catch it. And children don't have a hardy immune system, nor do young puppies.
Right. So, yeah, every season we do see some dogs that get kennel cough. Usually what happens is a dog will bring it in. The owner obviously doesn't know whether the dog's here with us for boarding or daycare. Sometimes this dog will start to exhibit symptoms of kennel cough while they're with us. Sneezing, hacking, coughing up phlegm. Our staff is trained to immediately identify any of those symptoms in any dog and to separate the dog and to call the owner and to let the owner know. And that is absolutely all we can do. So we have no way of knowing in our facilities when a dog has a respiratory illness like kennel cough. Right. We can only know when they exhibit symptoms, and we can only tell if a dog has symptoms when they're with us. So we can't account for how the dog came in or how the dog was 2 hours before arriving for his 10-day vacation. So I think the other misconception is that kennel cough can come about because of a lack of cleaning. And the truth is, just like a cold or the flu, kennel cough is airborne. So there's no amount of cleaning floors and walls and spaces that are going to completely eliminate an airborne illness traveling around the air. And of course, we clean and sanitize multiple times throughout the day with pet-safe disinfectant. And it helps to a degree, but there's nothing that's going to prevent that. Just like we always say, children in a kindergarten class, there's nothing that's going to prevent 3 or 4 or 5 kids every year getting the flu.
Right. It's aerosol, like you said. So it's airborne. It's transmitted through aerosol spray, and it dissipates in the air. So as you said, obviously our core, our foundation is keeping clean facilities, but that in and of itself doesn't kill Bordetella. It doesn't get on your clothes. You can't bring it home. So these are misconceptions of it. So the trick is to identify what it is. We also have in place, and again, this is really pertinent because this is what we're doing now. We quarantine the dogs, meaning if your dog has to go to the vet because there's an incubation period. So if Jackie has a cold right now and she sneezes on me, I'm not going to show symptoms of that cold if I'm susceptible to 3 or 4 or 5 days from now. So we insist that the dogs quarantine at home before they come here from a vet visit. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. So you're saying anytime a dog visits a vet for any reason, because of the likelihood or the increased likelihood that a dog will catch kennel cough or any other respiratory illness and transfer it to our facility, we ask that they wait a minimum of 7 days before coming in. Now that can cut back on the chances of them bringing in something like kennel cough, but it doesn't eliminate it completely because a vet's office is not the only place where a dog can pick up kennel cough, right?
No, completely right. But I think the key point to make, and again, is the incubation period. You don't catch something immediately, whatever the communicable disease is. It takes time to work through your body before you show symptoms of it. So we insist on it's a precautionary measure. And by the way, the Bordetella vaccine only protects about 50 to 60, 70% of the strains of Bordetella or respiratory.
I'm not sure how effective, honestly, it is. We'd have to ask a vet, but it is not. It's not 100% effective. So sometimes vets don't let customers know that the vaccine is not, in fact, 100% effective. So customers then think that when they have the kennel cough vaccine, that their dog cannot get kennel cough. That is not true. Your dog can get kennel cough even though he has the vaccination.
Absolutely. And that's probably one of the biggest misnomers. It's analogous to getting the flu shot and thinking you're going to be, even this COVID vaccine that's coming out, it's right off the bat, it's only going to be 60 or 70% effective. That's not something wrong. That's just the reality of vaccination.
Well, it just like everything else we're talking about for humans, the kennel cough the kennel cough disease continues to mutate every year. So the vaccine really only addresses, presumably the strain of the virus, the previous strains of the virus. So, just like with humans, vets are constantly moving to create vaccinations that are the most effective and that reflect the most recent strain of the virus.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, but here's the good news. Once you, like I said, for us as a pet care provider, we are not blamed, but we're the point person for anything that goes wrong. So if a dog gets kennel cough or gets anything, it's assumed that it must have taken place here at our facility. But as you quite correctly said, if you're at the dog park, your next door neighbor's dog, it's aerosol, so it can cross fences and so forth within a reasonable distance. So, but the good news, the silver lining here, Jackie, is dogs develop, just like humans, an immune system. So here it is. Once they get it, they're usually protected from it again. It is the inoculation. So getting it is the inoculation for kennel cough or that particular strain. Meaning the dogs that come here regularly, that are 3-4 years old, they have a hardy immune system. They may have gotten it when they first came, when they were 8-9 months old. Now that a dog that is infected can literally cough in another dog's face and they won't be infected.
Right. Just like kids going to school and kindergarten. Those early years, they get sick often, but then as they move through, their immune system builds up. Same for doggy daycare. Our regular dogs that come 5-6 days a week, much less likely to catch kennel cough or any other respiratory illness that happens to be going around. Wow. So rest assured that we are constantly cleaning and sanitizing. Anytime we do have a case of kennel cough, we will share it with our customers if we notice it to be a trend. We always post in our Facebook groups articles and different resources so that customers can be educated about what kennel cough actually is. Most importantly is that customers are aware of the symptoms so that you can report to us if you are noticing that your dog is experiencing this at home, because we don't want you to bring the dog in and infect other dogs.
Okay. Well, I do pretty good imitation of kennel cough. So what would you say the symptoms are if you were to describe it? If somebody says...
Do we really need this?
Well, I think so, because here it is. You do. We need an impersonation, because here it is. What the average person thinks of as kennel cough is a dog maybe going like that, which is actually a mild one. But it can sound as disturbing as this. And it's described as... No, but I'm serious. Everybody's laughing here. Right?
It's a hacking sound.
But actually, beyond a hacking sound, it is a hacking sound. But it's also described as it sounds like my dog is choking on a stick. That's why I had to do that pronounced imitation of it. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like something's enlarged in their throat and they're gagging to get it out. That is a sure sign of kennel cough, for sure.
Yeah, and we've had a couple customers ask about sneezing. Sneezing is part of the symptoms of kennel cough, but it's not the main symptom. So if your dog is just sneezing and he's not hacking, he may have allergies. So always check with your vet. Best bet for any of this is you always want to be safe and bring your dog to the vet. Sometimes the vet is going to recommend that the dog go on antibiotics just to be safe. I'm not even sure if there is a test for kennel cough. Like there is a flu test. I don't know, but
that's a good
question. Lot of times the vets will just put the dog on antibiotics, we'll ask the dog to stay home for 10 days. And once they're finished with their antibiotics, they can come back. It's usually extremely benign. Again, very rare that it can turn into something more serious. But obviously if the dog, if you decide not to bring your dog to the vet and he continues to experience symptoms and he continues, he moves into being lethargic, not wanting to drink water, not wanting to eat, that could indicate a more serious, issue.
Right. So just like your children, again, we always talk about a 2 or 3 year old child when we're dealing with dogs because they really can't verbalize anything. You can take their temperature. You can see when they're lethargic. So the trick is to monitor their behavior. Now, some people, if their child sneezes, they race them to the emergency room. I'm not criticizing that. That's one approach. Sometimes you might wait a little bit longer to see if there's other symptoms, but not allowing your child out for a little while, right? So if they say they don't feel well, they stay home and hydrate. And that's what the same thing with the dog. So you have to use your common sense, really. But understand, Bordetella been around forever. There's different strains. We know what I gave the imitation of the hacking. It's a hacking dry cough. And you'll know it when you hear it. It's like flatulence. You may not be able to describe it, but you know it when you smell it. Is that a good?
This is so bad.
Getting off topic. All right, I'm sorry. So the other things, what is there anything else you want to talk about, Jackie?
Well, that's really the main one. I think it's important just that everyone's educated on what kennel cough is and the signs to look for as we're entering what we call kennel cough season, and just know that there's not really much we can do about it except to follow our processes and our procedures. Right. And our staff are very well trained to identify when they see a dog with potential symptoms and let the customer know. We want the customer to make the decision, especially if their dog's here for boarding with us, whether or not they want that dog to go to the vet. Usually we recommend that just to be safe.
Right. Definitely isolate the dog from other dogs. And this time of year, that's the other reason, we're starting to be indoors, the window's closed. So one of our things that we do at Hounds Town is move air around. That's probably one of the biggest contributors to maintaining a safe environment. Obviously physically clean, but moving air around, and meaning windows open as much as we can. We use fans and air exchangers in almost all of our facilities to move air around.
Yep, and that helps a lot. Yeah, I think the indoor piece, well, the reason why it happens most at change of season is, do you even know why?
Are you asking or telling me?
No, do you know?
Is this
because
a quiz?
No.
Oh, I'm attributing it to the indoors, the change of our environment. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So in the summer, though, like I'm assuming maybe the air conditioner goes off, and it's not, there's in the spring and the fall, it's warm enough or cool enough so that we're not having a heat system or an air conditioning system on, right?
Yes.
And tends to be, limited amount of windows open in those seasons.
And
so there's no air exchange.
Right, and that's what they're talking about COVID now, right? It's more transmittable or inside, because people are inside. And so we just try to keep, and again, we try to keep it as natural as we possibly can. Is there any other, we've really talked about this Bordetella. I'm so hungry. I want to go to Jersey Mike's and get Bordetella with some Swiss cheese. What about growing pains? Besides the emotional ones that I have.
Okay.
What about growing pains?
Interesting connection.
It just dawned on me. So again, sometimes dogs, large breed dogs, I just want to, because they literally grow faster than their muscles, and muscles can take care of that to support their system. So a lot of times dogs will come to, like, for example, St. Bernards, Great Pyrenees, big dogs, they come and play all day at doggy daycare. And when they got home, they might be a little limping and sore. That's only because their body is growing so fast that they literally have what we would call growing pains. Does that make sense, or is it irrelevant?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, the larger breed dogs, I think that makes sense. Like, we're talking now about common injuries in addition to illnesses that kind of go around, are common for daycare facilities. So growing pains, definitely another one. Puncture wounds, also not uncommon. Like we always talk about.
Why?
Like we always talk about, dogs play with their mouths and their teeth, and they're rolling around and having fun. So occasionally a puncture wound, not necessarily the sign of a dog fight at all. No. And again, our staff does the absolute best they can to make sure that they're capturing or catching anything. And obviously letting customers know when they see something, but we miss stuff, especially on a long-haired dog. So all of these things are just good things to take into consideration when you're signing your dog up for, interactive play.
Of course, just like soccer, football, any games, any mammalian sports we play, wrestling, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, football, all these things are mammalian sports that humans do, right? We chase a football, bring it back to our den, all of these things are what humans do. Dogs do the same thing, and of course they're going to get hurt. Their mouths have four canine teeth, two on top, two on the bottom. They're designed not by me, by Mother Nature, to bite into skin and eat their food. And that's they use the same canine teeth for playing. So it's inevitable that a dog is going to get a puncture wound.
I think so. Collectively, these are the inherent risks of signing your dog up for doggy daycare.
Right.
It's like sending your child to football camp.
Soccer.
Because of the nature of the interaction, there's an elevated risk that a dog is going to get a minor injury or illness.
Yeah.
But rest assured, we're on top of it as absolutely best we can. Our staff is very well trained. They're trained in CPR, doggy CPR, and we do the best we can.
Not only do we do the best we can, we do the best available. That was what I'll tell you. Hounds Town USA, just by virtue of taking care of 2 million dogs, 2 million visitors, Jackie, we do better than our competitors.
I would say,
Period.
I would
End of
agree
story.
with that.
Well, the
All right.
statistics, we don't even have to this is a statistical fact. It's not theoretical. It is not theoretical. It's a scientific fact,
Right.
really, if you really want to crunch numbers. If you can take 2 million and then figure out the number of illnesses or whatever, it's low.
Right, we do. Yeah, pretty low. Pretty low rate of injury and illness, and that's due in part because of our cleaning procedures, our safety procedures.
Yeah.
We're very big on kennel safety, and we keep our groups small and specialized, so that helps.
Small and specialized.
All right, we got to go. So let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up, Jackie.
Tune in every Monday night at 8 o'clock on our Facebook page, The Dish on Dogs. You can also catch us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. We'll see everybody next week.
Great, Jackie. Thank you.